as Ann said, at our last meeting, we did vote to have a trial period for a year starting July 1st of not collecting overdue fines for adult and young adult materials. We had not discussed what we were going to do about outstanding fines up to July 1st. And so the commission asked us to meet again and to address that. After talking with Larry and getting his input from the staff and the administrative team, we are recommending that the overdue fines up through July 1st be waived at the time we start this trial process. That would be our motion on this item.
Judy, you want to vote on these separately, right?
Yes, please.
Okay, so because it came from committee, we already have the motion. Do you have any questions for Judy and her committee or the staff? Okay.
I do.
Yes.
Down here on this where it says manual fines include, it's kind of down at the bottom of that first page. Should that say unpaid annual fees for out of county cards rather than out of country cards?
Yes.
Yeah.
Could we correct that?
Several times and missed that off.
Thank you, Beth. Any other questions about this first item? Okay, Maria, call roll.
Alford,
Aye.
Anthony,
Yes.
Birdsong,
Yes.
Edmondson,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Leslie,
Yes.
Mon,
Yes.
McCaleb,
Yes.
McDaniel,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Patterson,
Yes.
Rubio,
Yes.
Gambler,
Yes.
Shockley,
Aye.
Chance,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Poland,
Aye.
Tucker,
Yes.
Woodruff,
Aye.
Zeke,
Yes, and I was skipped on the consent docket vote. So if I need to vote on that too.
Oh, I thought you had said yes. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I did. But I meant that. You read my mind.
Kane. You're muted, Ann.
Sorry, I said yes, sorry.
Thank you.
And then Judy, your next one?
The second recommendation is essentially housekeeping. We are addressing some items in the Policies and Procedures Manual. The first is policy AM 100 borrowing. And the first item there is removing the overdue fine language, which is what we just voted on today and last month. The second part addresses renewing of items. We have a policy that an item can be checked out for 3 weeks and then can be renewed up to 8 times. Now, normally this isn't a problem, but we have some borrowers who will check out an item and then go in immediately and engage all 8 of those rechecks. And that means that book is checked out for approximately 6 months. So if somebody wants a hold on that book, they have to sit and wait forever for it. So in order to address that, we're proposing that we go to an auto recheck. And that means that when the time comes up for a book to be rechecked or returned, the borrower will get an email, assuming we have their email address, that tells them whether they can recheck it or whether it will be automatically rechecked or whether it needs to be returned because there's someone waiting for it. So we still have the option of having a book for a very long time, as long as nobody else wants it. But it's just not really fair for somebody to check out a book and hold it for that long when there are 1 or more other people who would like to have access to that book. And so that's what we're trying to, a problem we're trying to solve with
Judy,
that.
It's Penny.
Yeah.
Can I ask, so, because I will be in this situation, I'm just pretty sure.
You talk about your overdue fines every once in a while, yeah.
I have a book for 3 weeks. Then if there's a list of people that want it, like John Grisham or something like that, or Harlan Coben, then after 3 weeks is what I've got. Then I've got to relinquish it and then put my name back on the list. Correct? Is that what you're? Okay.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's essentially what we've got now for those of us who are following the unwritten rules, that you just check it out and then you recheck it when it comes due. You know,
Right. I didn't know you could recheck it.
I didn't either.
I thought if you rechecked it, it just took more time off your current deal.
Yeah, this was a problem I didn't realize we were having, but I can see how it would be a problem, particularly with some of the newer books that have long waiting lists when by the time we get them, that, you know, get pre-ordered and a lot of people go on the waiting list. So now, after you're toward the end of your 3 weeks, if there is somebody on the waiting list, you will get a notice that you need to return the book. Otherwise, it will be automatically renewed.
I have a question. So a brand new book, you were able to check it out 8 times, even if, or is that cut off if there's somebody waiting for it?
Right now, you will be able to check it out for 3 weeks. And if there is somebody waiting for it, you are asked to return it.
The only thing you can do is hang on to it and pay a fine every day. And I've done that too.
Now we're no longer collecting the fines. So essentially, we are appealing to the borrower's good nature, because theoretically somebody can check a book out and just hang on to it. However, after 60 days, the book is considered lost and they will be charged the price of the book.
And that's a good thing, because otherwise people, you know.
But that is
I hate to, I kind of need, I apologize. I just don't understand what we were doing and what we're changing it to yet. And I'm sorry, I know you said that 3 times now, but for some reason I can't make it click.
Right now, we have to, if I check a book out and at the end of the 3 weeks, I want to keep it, I have to go into the website and renew that book. Under the new system, as long as there is nobody waiting on a whole list, the system will automatically renew it for me.
Okay, so as long as there's no one on a waiting list, and
Right.
then if there is a waiting list, there's a different, I'm sorry for the.
Yeah, then it lets me know that I have to get it back because somebody else wants it.
So it's really, for those of us that read on overdrive, it's what we do in overdrive when it's time for our book to come due and we haven't finished yet. I go in then and renew it, but I can't renew it if there is a waiting list. So then I put a hold on it, and then my name comes back up again, and I get to do what, Judy?
You have to write down somewhere how far you've gotten.
It actually remembers where I was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, Overdrive does that for you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't used Overdrive. So.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions about that one policy before she explains the other one? Okay, Judy, go ahead and explain the other cleanup.
Okay. The other policy that we're addressing is AS 510 public space reservations. We have a list, and I believe get the right one here. Well, somewhere in this report, there's a list of the public spaces that we have available for rent. And right now, Belle Isle is listed on there, although we are in a temporary location that does not have any rentable spaces. So the first thing we're going to do is to remove Belle Isle from that list until such time as we get back into the new Belle Isle location and have some rentable space. Right now, it's just confusing because somebody could look at that list and think that there was a space available at Belle Isle for them to rent, and there's not. And then on the flip side of that, now that Del City does have rentable spaces, we're adding them onto that list.
Okay, questions for Judy about the rentable spaces? It's AS 510.
I
Okay.
didn't ask Larry a while ago, but Larry, do you have anything to add to this one or to even the one that we voted on a while ago?
No, ma'am, I don't. You got them summarized very well.
Okay, thank you.
Judy,
Oh, go ahead, Beth.
I have a question back over on the first part because I didn't realize when you were saying that we were switching over to the rooms. On the fine for overdue things, my understanding is that we are just halting that for a year. Why would we go in and change our policy on it if it's just a temporary thing that's for this year?
Otherwise, for a year, this would be wrong.
Okay. All right.
So if we do go back to assessing fines, then we would need to go back and put this one statement back in. The language for overdue fines would have to be put back in. We are, I think, probably assuming that we won't go back to that. There are a number of the other library systems that are close to our size and all that have done this already, including Tulsa and Pioneer. And they seem to be perfectly happy with it, and it's working very well for them. So we really, and we've already done this with the children's books.
Yeah, I knew we had.
So,
I just figured we would wait the full year until it was something that we decided that we were going to keep before we made a change in our policy.
it's still the same kind of thing as taking Belle Isle off of the list.
Well, that was my question on that too. That just seemed, I would just think that we could just mark through those rather than changing our policy on it. But okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
We did get some additional information from Lisa Wells and Pioneer. She was able to give me, I sent out requests for information on how their returns were doing now that they had zero fine or waived the fines. And she referred back that they're actually getting their overdue materials back at a better clip now that they have no fines than when they did have fines. They were usually referring about 2,000 people to collections a month, which would be people who had overextended their material and were generating a fine. And now that they have implemented this, they're averaging about 1,600 a month. So they've actually seen a decrease in the number of people that they've been referring for collection due to overdue material.
Okay, thank you, Larry. Any other questions for Judy, the committee, for Larry? Okay, Maria, would you call roll? And we are voting, just to make sure everyone's clear. You've already voted on their first recommendation. So we're now voting on number 2. So Maria, call roll, please.
Alford,
Aye.
Anthony,
Yes.
Birdsong,
Yes.
Edmondson,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Leslie,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Caleb,
Yes, sorry.
McDaniel,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Patterson,
Yes.
Rubio, Gambler,
Yes.
Shockley,
Aye.
Shantz,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Tolan,
Aye.
Tucker,
Yes.
Woodruff, Woodruff,
Warr, Woodruff.
looks like he's joined by phone, but he's not answering. So Zeke,
Yes.
Kane.
Yes. Okay, thank you, Judy, to you and your committee for that work. You guys did a great job this year. 4.2, discussion, consideration, possible action, executive committee minutes from our May 12th meeting. Any questions about what you read? Okay, then they stand approved as submitted. 4.3, discussion, consideration, possible action, report and recommendations from joint meeting of the Administrative Personnel Committee and the Finance Committee. And I am going to turn it over first to Tracy.
Thank you. We met, as Ann said, in the joint session to discuss salaries as well as benefits. We have two resolutions. So the first one is covering salary, and we discussed the performance-based merit increase from 0 to 3%. Kelly Hoffman gave us an analogy or an analysis of the regional market, and we look really good there. We still lead the region and surrounding states in terms of starting salaries for library positions. We also looked at where we were for the next 12 months, ending March 21, and looked at the compensation increases for 2021 is 2.0, and compared to 2020 was 2.8. Salary increases were 1.6 in 2021 compared to 2.7 in 2020. And then the benefit increases were 2.6 in 21 compared to 3.3 in 2020. We discussed that. If Kelly's on the line, she wants to discuss it in more detail of what we're trying to do, I would let her do it at this point.
I think I would just add, we also kind of looked at projections for the coming year. Most employers, due to the pandemic, are holding steady on their budget increases for 21, 22. They're being very conservative, taking kind of a wait and see approach. And so we applied that in our analysis as well and to our recommendations.
So recommendation one would be to recommend that the Finance Committee incorporate the funds for the performance-based merit increase scale of 0 to 3% in the FY 2021-22 preliminary budget, and may adjust for the final budget pending revenue availability and further assessments of the economic conditions and forecasts.
Okay, thank you, Tracy. Dennis, you're chairing our Finance Committee. What would you like to say about your portion of when Finance met jointly?
Well, these recommendations, both of them came from Administration and Finance. And the role of the Finance Committee is to listen to the recommendations, see if they make sense, ascertain whether the money's there in the upcoming budget, and then move the recommendations forward to the entire commission. So in this first case and in the second case, that's what the committee is recommending.
Okay, any of you have questions for either committee or for Larry or Sharice or Kelly?
I have a question about the amount of increase, the 0 to 3%.
Okay.
How is that decided? Who gets 2, who gets 3? What are the criteria that go into that decision?
Tracy, you want to explain that?
I would pass it off to Kelly or Larry.
Kelly?
The 0 to 3% merit increase is part of our performance development system. And so we do an annual review with each employee, and that is how that amount is determined based on the performance for the year.
Did that answer your question, Arlita? You're muted, sweetie.
Probably not what I was really looking for. What makes a 2% increase opposed to a 1%? Is there a point system, or what is used to evaluate staff?
Yes, there is a point system, and we have a set of competencies, and they're rated in each of those competency areas, as well as in their job duties.
Good, that's what I wanted to hear.
Thank you, Arlita. Great question. Anyone else have a question?
I don't have a question, but a comment. It was mentioned that several of the systems are not really looking at what we call market adjustments, just overall salary increases this year. And part of the reason we're not is because of the situation of the pandemic, but part of it is also because we have a class and comp study coming up next year. And so that will give us a better idea of how we fit in with everybody.
Yeah, and just to bring everyone up to speed, I know all the years I was on AMP, we always talked about trying to be not only competitive, but to be higher than our competitors, not only in Oklahoma, but in the region, so that we can attract the best and keep them. So that's why when you're looking through the financials, you'll notice we do an amazing job of taking care of our employees, not only in the salary we offer, but also in the benefits package. We offer a very healthy and well-rounded benefits package. Anyone else have questions before we vote? Beth?
Did we address the flexible spending account in our discussions here? Did I miss that part?
I think that's resolution number 2.
The flexible spending?
Yes, that's in the second recommendation.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Did you have a question about that, Beth?
No, I think we should do it. I just didn't see it in, I guess I'm just not seeing it in the little thing, but if it's there, that's all I need to know.
Okay. Dennis, do you want to vote on these together or separately?
That's a Maria call, isn't it?
We had,
No,
and we didn't discuss resolution number 2 yet prior to a vote.
Oh, okay, sorry.
And we usually do vote on the salaries portion and the benefits portion separately.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So let's vote on number 1. And this, you see the wording in your, I'm not going to read all of that. You all can see that on the agenda. So Maria, call roll.
Alford.
Aye.
Anthony.
Yes.
Birdsong.
Yes.
Edmondson.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Leslie.
Yes.
Mon.
Yes.
Caleb. Caleb. Okay, I see her. She said yes.
Read her lips.
McDaniel.
Yes.
Morgan.
Yes.
Patterson.
Yes.
Rubio.
Yes.
Gambler.
Yes.
Shockley.
Yes. Aye.
Chauncey.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Tolan.
Aye.
Tucker.
Yes.
We'll try Woodruff again. Zeke.
Yes.
Kane.
Yes. Okay, thank you. That passes number 2, the second recommendation. Dennis?
Can we discuss it first, Ann?
Well, I was going to have Dennis talk
Okay.
about, but if you want to go first, go ahead, Tracy.
Well, I was just saying we discussed the benefit plan. That there's one addition that we're recommending this year to our normal plan. I'll let Stephanie explain it in more detail, but basically we're adding a high deductible health plan to our plan with a flexible health savings account, and that's in addition to what we have currently. And
Okay.
Stephanie, you want to
Thank you,
explain it in more? I don't know if any more detail or not, Ann.
Yes. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Everybody here? Okay. So our recommendation was to add, and this is in addition to our current plan. We're recommending to add a high deductible health plan. This is basically a plan that has lower premiums and higher deductibles than our traditional plan. Being covered by an HDHP is also a requirement for a health savings account. So the health savings account is also a really exciting piece of this recommendation. They're basically like personal savings account. The money in them is used to pay for healthcare expenses. Employees, not the employer or insurance company, own and control the money in the HSA. One benefit of the HSA is the money that you deposit is not taxed. So you've got a triple tax savings with the HSA account. The contributions you give are not taxed. You can use that money and put it into basically the stock market to earn interest. That is not taxed. And then when you withdraw those contributions for medical expenses, that is also not taxed. So it's really a great, powerful tool for employees to really be in control of their money. They can use the HSA funds to pay for deductibles, co-payments, co-insurance, and other qualified medical expenses. The second piece that we were recommending in conjunction with this is a limited flexible spending account. And basically how this works is that is strictly for dental and vision, since you'll have that HSA portion. We're really excited to recommend this because it gives us a competitive edge with recruitment and retention. Again, just giving employees more options and better control of how they want to use their benefits.
Thank you, Stephanie. Any questions for Stephanie on this part?
This is an especially attractive benefit to offer our staff in the sense that our staff is getting younger. And this is an account that stays with them. So even if they depart from us, this is something that they can take with them into their next stage of life. And so it is, we're hoping something that will aid many of our younger staff members.
I would only add to that that an employer our size needs to have these things. These are very relevant in the business world today.
Yeah, thank you, Dennis. Any questions? Tracy, anything else you want to add to the conversation?
No, not at this time.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Maria, call roll. And
Alford?
we're voting on, I'm sorry, we're voting on number 2.
Alford,
Aye.
Anthony,
Yes.
Birdsong,
Yes.
Edmondson,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Leslie,
Yes.
Mon, Caleb,
Yes.
McDaniel,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Patterson,
Yes.
Rubio, Rubio,
Yes.
Gambler,
Yes.
Shockley,
Aye.
Shantz,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Poland,
Aye.
Tucker,
Yes.
Woodruff. He's still not available. Zeke,
Yes.
Kane.
Yes. Motion passes. Thank you, everybody. And thanks to both AMP and finance committees and to our HR department. A lot of hard work you guys have done, so we appreciate it. Number 5.1, library usage report. Larry?
I am happy to answer any questions you may have about our library usage report. Our usage numbers are, I think the technical term is wonky for the next year, year and a half because of the impact from last year in the reduction, and we had so many closures and so many reduced hours. And it's going to take us a while to gradually creep closer to being normal. And so it's probably going to be a year or more before we start seeing numbers that look more like what we were seeing before the pandemic. So some of our numbers are going to make what appear to be large drops or large increases based on the amount of activity that's going on. Last year, we saw large drops. This month, we saw large increases, some things increasing over 100% or program attendance was up 590%. But that is just because of the nature of us returning more closely back to normal of the data that we have.
Thank you, Larry. Questions for Larry about the monthly report? Okay.
I had
question, and it may not be beneficial at all, and everybody may think we don't need it, but would we maybe want to look at a month over month rather than a year over year comparison, since it is so drastically different? Or would that just not be possible to do?
Actually, if you look at the statistics, the first page is the month of April, which is just the monthly synopsis, and then we do the fiscal year.
Right.
We could do a month over month. It would kind of show, I think, a little bit of the same thing, but we could do that.
Okay, I just didn't know if anybody thought that might be beneficial.
I think it's more relevant if you're having summer reading program, you want to compare June to June rather than another type of sequence.
We can add that to our comparison.
I do think that seeing if you're gradually increasing your numbers, because a year on year is so wonky right now, I think Rachel's right. I would like to do that each month.
No problem.
Thank you, Larry. Rachel, thank you for asking.
Thanks.
Okay, let's see. Item 5.2, summer reading presentation. Emily Williams, Teen Service Manager, and Kristen Williamson, Children's Service Manager. Ladies, we always love seeing you at this time of year. It's hard to believe it's almost summer.
Everyone, thank you for having us. We're just going to briefly talk about some highlights for summer reading, which we hope you all participate in this year. I'm Emily Williams. I'm the Teen Services Manager in the Engagement and Program Services Department.
And I'm Kristen Williamson. I'm the Children's Services Manager. So why do we do summer reading? For one thing, it is the biggest program that we do all year long. It goes from June 1st to July 31st. It is free and it is for all ages. One of the benefits is that it helps prevent summer slide. Students who don't read or engage in any kind of educational activities or enrichment during the summer can lose some of the progress that they made throughout the year. And that accumulates over time. So by the end of 6th grade, you could have a student who is as much as 2 years behind their peers who do read during the summer. Additionally, it's an opportunity for adults to have leisure reading and model that behavior for the children in their lives. It also promotes reading for fun and enjoyment. A lot of people take road trips and will listen to audiobooks in the car and share that love of reading with the other people in their lives. And it's a community tradition. Buddy Johnson did a little digging and found records of our summer reading program going back over 90 years ago. So before too long, we'll be able to celebrate the centennial of our summer reading. It also helps with our goal of creating a community of readers and supporting that goal.
So if you're not familiar with summer reading, it is a program where people sign up, they log their reading and their reading related activities during the summer, and they earn prizes. Because of COVID-19, we've made some modifications to the program just to keep it as simple and easy as possible for staff and for our customers. We've kept the flattened structure that we had last year. So we have one goal level with the same prizes for all ages. We've modified all of the reading related activities that customers can do to earn points so that they can all be done from home if people prefer, or online. We've pushed prize pickup back to August, just like we did last year. But we will continue to have the book prizes funded by the Friends at the Library. And we're continuing with Read It Forward and our community goal. So we set our community goal at 8 million points. So for every minute you read, that's a point that you've earned. And when we reach that goal, the Friends will be donating summer reading books to Restore OKC. We've done a ton of outreach to schools this year, including a teacher training on the program. And we have moved our teen volunteer program to a virtual platform. So I'm very excited about working virtually with teens this summer, since we're not doing in-person volunteering quite yet in the libraries. If customers aren't online, they can still track all of their reading with a paper reading log. We've been reaching out and publishing ads with reading logs and activity logs to reach those without internet. And we're including reading logs in our curbside bags. And we're also sending out a direct mailer to those who have low internet connectivity.
If you want to find out more about summer reading, you can go to our website, which is metrolibrary.org/summer reading, and it has all of this and more information. If any of you participated in the Winter Reading Challenge, the software that we used for that is Beanstack, and that is the same software that we are using for summer reading. If you participated in Winter Reading, you already have an account. You can just log in and start reading again. It's really convenient. Yes, Penny?
Would you say the website again? Because I do it every year, but I get confused every year. Metropolitanlibrary.org. Then you said /summer reading.
Metrolibrary.org/summer reading.
Got it. Okay, thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no worries. Staff will be available to help people enter their reading logs and assist those who don't have internet access. But people who do have internet access and have smartphones, they can download the Beanstack app and log from there. Beanstack has also added a new feature where you can add friends and see what they're reading. There's a leaderboard. You can compete against each other to see who reads the most minutes over the summer. And then in addition to that, we have a lot of programs going on. The majority of them are going to be virtual. So we're partnering with Science Museum Oklahoma, the Museum of Osteology, the Oklahoma City Museum of Art, and Oklahoma Contemporary Art Center to do a whole series of virtual programs through June and July. And we have a partnership with the Arts Council Oklahoma City to do our neighborhood arts program, which brings live performing arts performances into the different communities around our county. Since we're not doing in-person programs in our libraries, we're going to do a few of them at Scissortail Park Farmers Market and at the Myriad Gardens and at the Festival of the Arts. Plus, we will do some streaming as well, so people have an opportunity to see it, whether they can get out to those live performances or watch it from the convenience of their own home.
Summer reading is a massive team effort. As you know, we work on this program year-round. We have a steering committee and multiple subcommittees to handle all of the communication and staff engagement. So I just want to thank the close to 20 staff that we have that have worked on planning summer reading since last October. So please sign up. Pre-registration is open now. The program runs June 1st to July 31st. As Kristen mentioned, it's free for all ages. And if anyone has any questions, we're happy to answer them.
Thank you, ladies. So as everyone knows, commissioners can participate in that. And I know Penny and I participate every year. So I know we have a bunch of other commissioners that do too. So if you haven't done it before, it's a great opportunity to hold yourself accountable, to slow down, breathe, and read a great book. Anyone have questions for either of our wonderful ladies that presented today?
I do. If we're a commissioner, we can be in the reading program, but we're not eligible for the prizes, right?
So you are eligible for the goal prizes, and those goal prizes are your selection of 2 books, which are everything from board books all the way up through a few adult fiction novels, or a tote bag that has a Metro branded logo on it. But there are some larger drawing prizes at the end of summer, and staff and commissioners and their immediate households are not eligible for those.
Thank you.
Great question, Arlita. Thank you.
Also, in the past, at least, we've been able to read it forward. If we worked up and got books, we can just go ahead and donate them.
Right. Yeah. Beth?
First, I just want to say, great job with networking with the other museums around town. I think that's excellent. For Emily, I have a question on the teen volunteers. What type of volunteers work do you have available virtually?
So we have, I think, 8 different opportunities for teen volunteers, and it can be, you know, for those that don't necessarily have internet access, they could be writing book reviews for us that will be featured on our blog. They can create coloring pages and activity sheets for some of our younger customers in the libraries. Those that have technology and are a little bit more tech savvy, we're hoping they'll create book review videos and content for some of our social media channels. So we're just starting to get those volunteers recruited and placed at the libraries and working with the teen librarians there. So this is our first year ever trying something like this. So we're gonna see how it goes.
Okay. I wish you luck.
Thank you.
Awesome. Great question, Beth. Any other questions for either Emily or Kristen? Okay, ladies, thank you so much for presenting once again. We love May because that means it's almost summer. And I know you always look forward to June 1 because then the hard work, right, is over to get to that point. Thank you. Okay, 5.3, delivering service during the pandemic. Kelly Delaney, Digital Service and Strategy Manager, and Kimberly Bolt, Director of Outreach and Engagement.
Hello, thank you. Kelly Delaney wasn't able to be here today, but we just wanted to share our kudos for her. She's really been the force behind this report and the highlights video you'll see shortly. I'm Kimberly Bolt, the Director of Outreach and Engagement Services, and Emily Williams, who you just heard talking, is going to in Teen Services Manager and Engagement and Program Service will assist me with the video and questions. Since I just started in January, I may not have all the answers you need. Our aim in delivering this report that's in your board packets was really to highlight and showcase the efforts of our staff during the pandemic. Research that staff had done led us to really want to take a staff validation approach rather than simple recognition. During the pandemic, individuals really needed to be heard rather than just recognized, and then also wanted their feedback to be reflected back to them. So what we did was we created a series of surveys for our frontline staff and managers to find out what was valuable to them. And we asked them to reflect on the past year on things they did and contributed to reaching our community. So our frontline staff, those ones working directly with the customers, our librarians, our engagement staff, our circulation staff, were asked one simple question. That was, what is something you did last year to meet the needs of your community? Answers varied from, I helped with curbside so staff could do take-home kits, or I learned how to record videos. But there was a great variety in that. And managers were asked a few more questions. They were asked to reflect on their teams and to highlight the work that their teams produced during the time, to share the successes and what they learned along the way. We also asked them about the hurdles and pain points they experienced so we can look into them and see what we can do to be able to better help them in the future. So the report contains our findings. There's a lot of stats in the back as well concerning it. It concerns the many staff accomplishments during the pandemic and what lengths they went to ensure our customers still had access to the library, even while our doors were closed and then while we were at varying levels of service. And Emily, if you would play our highlights reel for us. Thank you, Emily. While you'll see that many of the pivots that we did to serve the public during the pandemic were because of the pandemic, some of these changes will continue, as we found that they really allowed us to serve segments of the community that we weren't reaching with the traditional brick and mortar library services. Some of these are curbside, Zoom and Facebook Live events. We've realized that it allows us to attract people from all over the world to present, as well as to watch and participate. Take-home kits that allow busy families to do traditionally in-library programs at home when they have time, and just busy working adults to participate as well. On-demand content, including recorded programs and videos, allow people to interact with us and our programming when it's convenient for them. And last but not least, our virtual Children Reading to Dogs has been nationally recognized by PLA for turning the program virtual, and it's going to be brought to our sister library in Dusseldorf, Germany to experience in the near future as well. Now, this project and the service during the pandemic was not just a small lift. It took everybody in our organization to pull off the report, as well as just everything we did for our community. So I'd love it if you would look when you have time on page 2, production team. Many staff worked on this report and analyzing and statistics to be able to present this to you. And there were many more that aren't listed there. This was a project that grew and grew and blossomed, and we realized this report was just the tip of the iceberg. So expect a part 2 coming soon to you. Thank you so much for letting us present, and we just want to share how proud we are of everybody in our libraries and our community for all their wonderful work. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Kimberly and Emily. That is, yeah, a big round of applause. When you look at the data and you see those pictures and you think, wow, right? It's been 14 months. So that was an amazing report. We really appreciate it. Anyone have questions for either of these two ladies or for Larry?
No, but I have a comment, Ann.
Okay, Dennis.
You know, we've all lived through this pandemic that is unprecedented in our lives. And speaking as a retired person of 3 years, I can't imagine what it's like to be in the workplace during these times. And I think Larry and the staff, all the staff of the library, should be commended for sucking it up and getting the product out the door, getting the information. It's just a remarkable job.
Yeah, great comment, Dennis. Thank you. And I know that I am sure the rest of the commissioners echo your thoughts on that, especially for everyone working in the workforce. But I remember the feeling that our employees had as we started going through the different stages, right? The different levels of opening back up. And I know that is scary from personal experience as our office was opening back up. So thank you for staying the course. And I think our data shows that for the few that did get out, I mean, we didn't have huge numbers going out the door of people getting COVID from our libraries. So we also have to recognize that we have an amazing cleaning program, and then just the safety procedures that Anthony and his team put in place so that we kept our employees and customers safe. And then just the willingness of our people to show up every day. So thank you. And ladies, that was a great report. I'm not sure how part 2 is going to top that. That's a challenge you set for yourself. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Larry, is there anything you want to highlight under your report? We're on 6.1, Executive Director's Report.
Are you going to talk about the in-person meetings protocol for next month, or would you like for me to mention that?
I would love for you to do that.
Okay. Well, as you know, we're going to be meeting in person next month for all of our meetings, and we have tentatively scheduled those sessions to be held in the auditorium of the downtown library. When we are in person, we are still encouraging social distancing and the wearing of masks while we're still in the building. So we wanted to let you know that is coming. We also want to let you know that we have a backup in place in case we have a problem. We are having some work done on our sewage system by the city. And it's going to require that the building shut down for 3 days in order to fix the 40-foot section of pipe that has to be replaced. We're not exactly sure when that's going to happen. So we had to plan a contingency for what to do in case that happened during a commission meeting. So if we find ourselves unable to meet at downtown next month for our meetings, we have reserved the Bethany meeting room because it is the next largest meeting room in the system, and we would be convening there instead. But we will let you know as we get closer to that date when that will occur. They have not gotten with us yet on a specific date of implementation, but we will pass it on to you when we have it.
And Larry, we're not sure yet when we're going to go back to traveling to each of the libraries, right? It depends on the next rollout of fully implement opening back up and putting the furniture, all the furniture back out, right?
Yes, ma'am. We're tentatively looking at August 1st, given that our numbers are staying low, both within the county and within our staff organization. We've been over 2 months now since we've had a case on staff, and the numbers have trended down dramatically for the local county. So if this keeps up, we are looking at going back to what would be called normal operations on August 1st. And we would resume all of our normal services as much as possible. I think that that's probably the highlights of the report. The one thing I did want to mention is at the tail end of my report, you will see a document that says Manifold Creative Concepts. It is a project proposal summary for the new public art that is going to be at the new Belle Isle building. And it describes to you what it is, gives you a little overview of what it's going to look like. We had a little serendipity in the process. There was a group of community members and members from the OKC government who worked together to go through a screening process to identify project participants. And one of the teams that was selected wanted to include a quote on the piece of art. And the quote is, "We are the universe and the universe is us." And we didn't realize where that was from right offhand. And we discovered that the quote is from a work by Joy Harjo. And Joy Harjo just happened to be scheduled to do a book, her readings with us. And so while we were in contact with her setting up that meeting, we were able to also negotiate the permission to use her quote on our artwork. And so Joy Harjo is going to be a part of our new Belle Isle building. It wasn't intended that way, but it is a nice serendipity that has come out of the situation. And so I just wanted to give people an idea of what that new public art will look like. And I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone may have.
Larry, I can't find that at the end of your report, and I looked at it before today.
Is
it should report or is it something else?
It should be.
It's in there. It's separate. It's not in the same document. It's a separate attachment.
Okay. Which attachment on our agenda is it?
It looks like this.
It says Manifold Summary Page, Belle Isle Library.
The second one showing.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Also, I have another question, Larry. Is there a feeling that even though we're so distant in the auditorium, that people have a greater sense of being in a meeting than they do on Zoom? Is that why
we're meeting because the governor had put in place a exemption to the public meetings rules that allowed us to meet virtually while there was an emergency. The governor canceled the emergency. Therefore, at the end of 30 days past that cancellation date, we have to go back to meeting in person according to compliance for the public records law.
That's right. Thank you.
Larry?
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question or questions. In your report, you talk about that we are back servicing about 65% of the on-site libraries at the senior living locations.
Yes, ma'am.
How many libraries, how many senior citizen locations does that entail? In other words, how many did we do previously and how many are we doing now?
Well, we have about 100 on-site libraries and we are presently in about 65 of them.
So, okay, so 65% of the 100. And then my other question was, what kind of a humidity problem are we having at Del City?
It is something that is being managed. I think, Anthony, do you have any information that you could share on this?
Oh, briefly, Dennis is more the expert on this, but it's a brand new building and there's something wrong with the HVAC system in terms of how it's working, and it's very technical. And so we're working with the general contractor and the manufacturer of the equipment to try to get it calibrated so that it draws the water out of the atmosphere like it's supposed to. And so it's just brand new stuff that's not working right. And we're trying to get it fixed. And we're having to work
an equipment problem that is fixable. Then it's not something beyond our abilities, in other words.
It's not something we could fix internally. We're having to work with the manufacturer who designed the actual system.
Great question, Beth. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony.
Okay. Any other questions for Larry about his report? Okay. Next, comments by commissioners, 7.1. Anyone have any comments?
I have a question. Was there a mention that Dusseldorf is a sister city to the library or to the city? What's the connection there?
There is a library that we have formed a sister library with. And it is in Dusseldorf, and it is the English library of the city. And one of the members of their organization is a native Oklahoman. And so she reached out to us and asked if we would be willing to work with them in a sister library arrangement. We have finalized an MOU with them, and we will be working with them to help augment and exchange programming and cultural. And we're looking forward to the opportunity of what it may bring.
There are libraries and do cooperative programming like book discussions, where both sides of the ocean are reading the same book and then virtually discussing it. So that kind of thing would be exciting to work on.
That is the kind of thing that we're doing. We're even working with them, as was noted, to teach them how to do reading to dogs online. They're very interested in moving that program forward. So we're getting connected to the world.
That's great. Thank you. Good question, Arlita. Okay. 7.2, our next meeting is June 17th at 3:30 in person, downtown library, 4th floor in the auditorium. And if there are no other comments, then we're adjourned. You all stay safe and well. We'll see you in a month. Bye-bye.
Thank you to everyone.